You gotta be yourself because everybody else is fool.
That's why it's crazy we chose the name Klippah Talk.
Then going to the barbershop, sitting around.
I was say, I ain't that. It's a nice little reminder.
If it bleeds, it leads. 100%.
Like, hey, they want to say what they want to say, but we gonna let these Clippers talk.
I think that's it.
All right.
Welcome to another edition of Klippah Talk. And today, we're stepping out on a side that we've never done before. We've never really had a sports conversation where we talked about various sports. But we have somebody that's going to guide us through it. He has his own talk show. And his podcast is named the Two-Man Podcast, Sports Talk. And I'm going to let him introduce himself, but he's the co-host. So just get ready for some commentary on some sports talk. And we're going to have fun with it a little bit. But now I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yes, sir. Adam, my name is Adam, one half of the Two-Man Sports Pod. My other co-host, his name is Brandon. He couldn't be here. But we're going to be starting recording or releasing our episodes in about 2 weeks. And we'll be releasing weekly episodes, mostly about Charlotte sports, but we're going to be talking about everything. So, appreciate y'all having me.
Cool.
A little bit about your background, like where you're from, a little history of what made you the man that you are and what made you want to get into sports commentary.
Man, me and my brother, I got an older brother. We're from Hampton, Virginia, but we've been living in North Carolina for a long time. And probably around third grade, we moved to Durham. Just so happened, Chris Duhan's little brother became my neighbor. And so I just got hooked on Duke. So that's when it started. We would go to Duke games all the time. My pops was actually a UNC fan, but I wanted anything anti my pop. So if he liked the UNC, I like Duke. He liked Boston Red Sox, I like the Yankees. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that. But he really he put the ball in my hand. We played every sport, me and my older brother. And then it was like a love affair, man. I love sports. Like my son was going to come here and watch his pod. And he was like, Dad, every time you start talking sports, you get mad. I don't really want to go. You know what I'm saying? I just love the game, man.
So it's in your veins.
Yeah, man. Right. It's just, all my free money goes to my son and going to see sports games. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. So you are a fan of all Charlotte teams?
I like them to do well. Since the Panthers is really my only team that I root for, but I like the Lakers, the Yankees, Duke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I'm a Duke and a Yankees, man. Now, first, let me get myself together so everybody see what's going on over here.
Don't embarrass yourself, man.
So before we start get into it, I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on.
Everybody know you like the New York business. But since you brought up football, what you guys think about the draft? Like, from my point of view, this is one of the most interesting draft I ever watched. And not only, I think the NFL, in a way, they piped up a way to try to get people to watch the entire draft. Because I'm not going to, get into the Shador situation yet, but they made it dramatic enough to make you want to watch all 3 days. So I was able to pay more attention than I normally pay, because usually I just go on my phone, see who the Jets picked up, see what was the big splash of the day. But this time, I think the NFL, this draft was so deep and had so much talent to where I think everybody got what they needed.
Yeah.
I know you're a Panthers fan, you're a Giant, of course I'm a Jet.
Yeah.
But what stood out for you with the draft, and what kind of season do you expect from your Panthers with the athletes that they picked up?
They surprised me with their first pick, getting a wide receiver. I felt like I was a fan of T-Mac, you know what I mean? But
right.
Nothing about what I was seeing on screen showed me, like when you think about the last, 4 or 5 drafts, every receiver that came in the top, whatever, Devontae, Jalen Waddle, these dudes is 1,000 right off the gate. I didn't see that for him. So I was like, I'm a little nervous about the pick, but if it pans out, what we got in round 2, 3, and you know what I'm saying, we just filled out our defense. We had one of the worst defenses in the league. So I'm happy with what we got, bro. I'm pleasantly happy with the pieces we was able to get. That second round pick that we got this D end out of South Carolina.
Right.
Scorton, I think I might be mispronouncing his name, Scourton or Scorton. He's going to be a beast, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to come in right away, give you 9, 10 sacks. So, we got some game changers on the team, and I felt like the Panthers were taking steps. I'm an optimistic fan, but I feel like we were taking steps towards, we were in tight games with a lot of good teams. You know what I mean? But the good teams, they just made more plays throughout the end. And I feel like we got guys who can make game-changing plays this offseason. You know what I mean? That we're going to be way better. Way better.
So let me ask you this, man. It's a hometown kid from Salisbury that I felt like the Panthers needed. Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have been a big asset to
agree.
the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? They needed that defense, that the line, the edge rushers. Like that's what they needed from what I seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, how did that what's your take on that?
I was hurt, man. I ain't even gonna lie. I was rooting for Jalen too. I saw an interview he did with Kay Adams. She started talking about the Panthers and pause. He started blushing. You know what I'm saying? He really wanted to be home. And when you got a player, he seemed like he made the right stuff. His stats in college was A1, and he wants to be in Carolina. I feel like those are the type of dudes you want to get. But clearly, right now, me and my homie, we've been saying, in Dan we trust. Whatever Dan do right now, I'm trusting in him. So if he feels like we could get better value out of a number one receiver, I'm just gonna roll with it. But I was hurt. Jalen should have been the pick for me.
I agree, but what I'm looking at is you have a receiver in your conference, that big body, and he can stretch the field a little. He's not the fastest, but he got a little speed on him, Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And I think with your coach being part of that system down in Tampa Bay, I think he was looking at, I need to get a piece that I had down there to make this offense work. So I kind of see why he went with T-Mac, because T-Mac has that prototype, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed. But he's got that big body that can turn and get that possession receiver. Yeah. That's what y'all needed. With the Jalen, with that situation with him, man, I think what hurt him is when you, I don't know if it was me and you had that conversation or me and someone else had the conversation about Walker with his run stopping and how sometimes he get caught up on the line and he can't get to the play. Yeah. So I'm thinking that may be what hurt him with Carolina.
In a 3-4, because in a 3-4, the linebacker gonna have to take on
a D lineman.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. What Dan said in the post in the presser, he was like, he just felt like the gap for the wide receivers this year was like there's 2 in the draft that's gonna be real game changers, and after that it's a fall off. Right. It was like DN, it's first 2 rounds you can get a solid DN. So from that reasoning, it made sense. Right. You know what I mean? Because we needed both. And if you feel like, okay, we can get a DN at any point in the first 2 rounds and we're going to miss out on a receiver. The biggest thing with Bryce towards the end of the season, our top pick, Xavier Legette, our other dude, Jalen Coker, and even some of the other dudes who were Adam Thielen's the only dude on the team with short hands. You know what I'm saying? He's old. So that's the one thing about T-Mac. He will, if he can get, his hand anywhere close to it, he ain't got the separation, but if he can get his hand anywhere close to it, his catch radius is crazy. So, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to pick, but I'm still thinking, I know Jalen Walker, he's in division too. So he's going to haunt us for the next 10 years probably. You know what I mean?
20 sacks a game. 20 tackles a game.
For sure.
Every time he plays. Because he's going to have that.
Him and Bryce going to get real familiar with each other.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be, I don't care what kind of game he has against anybody else. When he played the Panthers,
he's going to go off.
Right. He's going to do his thing.
I don't know if I like the receiver pick because the picking a receiver first last year and the year before, I don't think it was a receiver.
We got XL in the second round last year, but he was like, we was the first pick basically. Pick number 32. Because last year, who we get?
Y'all didn't have a first rounder last year, did you?
That's right. We had to give it up to Chicago.
Yeah, we gave it up to
Chicago. So he was technically our first pick,
right? The first pick.
So, I was like a receiver because I was just looking at it. I was like defense. And then that first pick was receiver, threw me off. Like it threw me off what I picked with Carter. Yeah. I was like, but Mel Kiper, he said it like the day of the draft, he said it like 5 times on ESPN. I was just like, and exactly what he said, that's what the Giants did. Yeah. And I didn't threw me off a little bit.
I think that was great, getting Carter. Because if you think about the recipe that you guys always had when y'all won the chip, you and I talked about this before. Y'all always got them DNs that quarterback, as soon as he snapped the ball, he better know where he's going. Or if it's a handoff, everybody got to make their block. Just pause them for a second because you're not going to stop them. And I'm looking at what you have now. Y'all got 2 young studs at DN. and I'm seeing that same recipe. Plus, you got big boy in the middle from Clemson.
Big dicks.
So I mean, like,
Oh,
if y'all
yeah.
run that 3-4, y'all run a 4-3 though, right?
Yeah.
They probably gonna end up trading one of them young dudes. Y'all still got Kayvon?
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
Kayvon, Brian, and this dude?
We
And
picked
Thibodeau.
up his.
To my Kayvon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
So they probably
Yeah,
gonna let.
he picked up his option, so he'll be there.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
all.
I feel like y'all don't need both of them. Him
But
and
depth.
Brian.
But think about it. A lot of teams, like last year, what hurt you guys was the depth. Like y'all
Oh,
competed,
100%.
but when it got to that fourth quarter,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that'll help them out with depth, because if the coach does what he's supposed to and rotate them boys out, quarterback gonna be
They
there.
looking at, they got Jaden to mess with in the
Mhm.
division. You got Jalen who like to get out the pocket. So you gotta have them defensive ends. It's a
You
smart
got-
pick.
But
That's
if
just
they
bad.
do like they used to do, stay home first, then attack. I hate to see everybody do like my man used to do for Freeney.
Yeah.
Everybody now is like him. They just come off that end,
Go.
and you don't stay home to see what the play is, then go after the quarterback.
Just go.
Just straight. Dwight Freeney was a monster.
He was.
But
yeah.
if you wanted to had a good run game, run to his side, because he's gonna run right past you, man.
Yeah, he gonna spin himself out the play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The quarterback, he gonna touch the quarterback every time.
Oh man.
But I think,
Washing machine.
but that first round pick for y'all, man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because,
Which first round pick we had to?
well, you know, that second one was just a statement for the league.
Yeah,
We'll get into
I
it
hope
later.
I hope he's good though. I really do.
I feel like he gonna be all right. He's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah, he not.
Just not
He's
the
that
one I
New
want.
York Giant. When the
Typical.
Giants have a good defense, that's the type of quarterback you
Just the
guys
game
always
manager.
get.
That's it.
He's a-
I
but
feel like
not on-
Shador is that though.
Mhm.
Shador can do that. He a pocket dude. He just pick you apart. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Especially, we never seen him with a line. So that's what's going to be crazy. Like,
Well, if
Cleveland
he would
has
have
a
came to New York,
decent
he wouldn't
line.
have a line.
But Cleveland has a decent line. The only thing, I don't think Shador is going to be first day starter.
nah, I don't think so.
I don't even know if the league is done making their point. But if we see him, it'll be late season. You know what I'm saying? Because with the defense that they have, Flacco, he'll get them at least 500
We think,
before the
bro.
trade deadline.
I don't know what to think about Flacco. He had a whole season. Who he played for last year? Didn't he play for the Colts or something last year?
He was
Or
with
the year before that? I don't even know.
He was in Cleveland once before. No, he was
Yeah.
with the Bengals. Was it the
Yeah,
Cleveland?
he was
Jets
with
too.
Cleveland.
Yeah, he was with
He
us.
was with us, and then he left y'all, and I want to say
Maybe that's
he
when he
went
went
to
to
the
Indy.
Colts.
He went to the Colts.
And then
And
Cleveland
then he
picked
went
him
to
up for
Cleveland.
that playoff run.
Mhm.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you need him good for 3-4 games, Joe Flacco for 16. I loved when he was playing for y'all. I bet against y'all every Sunday. That was free money.
Right. Because
You know
he's a
what I'm
statue in the
Yes,
he's a
bro. Like,
statue
that
in
was
the
free
pocket.
money. It's like, if he don't got a good team around him,
he gotta have outstanding defense
And
good
play action.
offense.
And a mean run
Yeah,
game.
he
for
gotta
play
have
action.
it because he's not consistent.
he's
No.
not, bro.
And
He's
like
not.
my favorite name for him was Wacko Flacco when he was in Baltimore.
I like Fluco because I
Right.
felt like that one Super Bowl run was a fluke. I mean, he got hot.
Yes.
He might have had 2 good playoff runs, but still, that don't make up for your whole. This
Yeah.
ain't the NBA where you can be playoff Rondo. You
No,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
We need you to get us to the playoffs. They pay him all that money. When you get that type of contract, that's like, even if we take away your main receivers, you still can get us there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And he's not that.
And he's
He's
not that.
never been that quarterback. I can't remember the name of the
He
receiver,
a lucky quarterback.
but came out of NC State. The one that was his long ball catcher when he was with Baltimore.
Jacoby?
No, he was the deep threat. He was always, even after that, he went to San Fran. And then he ended up coming back to Baltimore and retiring.
Torrey Smith?
Torrey Smith.
He went to
Mhm.
state?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know
was
that.
That was NC State.
I didn't know
play.
Torrey went to state.
Mhm.
That's why he came and played for the Panthers then. 'Cause
Mhm.
He's probably from around here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's dope.
he lit it up. And see, when you got, then he had Anquan Bolden.
Yeah. He was a lucky quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
With
you
a
got
great
quarter,
defense.
Yeah.
and I think that's who you guys got. But I think, did y'all pick up another receiver? Because Neighbors definitely gonna need help. Neighbors is, I think he's next level. I put him in that category with Chase. I'm not gonna say he's got more to prove, But I put him in that category with Chase. I put him in the category with a lot of those young
Yeah,
receivers
nah,
up
he's
and
just
coming.
he's right there.
Right, he's right
right
there.
there.
The only thing he needs now is a quarterback
That's it.
to get the reps
That's
and
it.
to get the activity. Because and then like I'm gonna move on to our pick. I think that offensive lineman that we got from Missouri, I don't want to mess his name up, but our pick, man, this guy he's gonna be a monster. He's one of the most athletic, offensive linemen that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
And with what we have at offensive line now, I think that it'll be stable. I'm not putting our offensive line as being top tier, not even top 10, but stability where now Justin Fields doesn't have to run for his life. I think Justin Fields, with what the Jets picked up, the young receiver from Georgia, I'm not sold on him fast, but I saw a lot of drops from this kid this year.
It's gonna be the best running game he ever had behind him. He got Brees and what's the other dude that was rookie last year?
Don't make me
Big back, big dude.
Allen.
Yeah,
Braden Allen.
Like he got two solid running backs. I mean, it's cool like with the what the Ravens was doing.
And we picked up another one. We got the running back from Michigan.
Oh,
unrestricted.
Okay. What's his name? Mullins or something? Mullings.
You
got him? Starting one?
The Edwards. I think his last. He was the one who came in and started the last 3 or 4 games of the season.
The Jets should be good, bro. I really think that, and I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan. I just felt like that whole mess was kind of set them off course last year.
Right.
Because there's no reason when you look at y'all's pieces that y'all should have been that bad. Offensively, y'all was bad. Defense can be ebbs and flows, but y'all got the pieces on defense too. That don't make no sense. So, who y'all defensive coordinator this year?
Our defensive coordinator is my man. He was the head coach for you guys temporarily. Then he went to San Fran as the.
Oh, you got Wilkes?
Yeah, we got Wilkes.
Oh, y'all gonna be straight.
Yeah, we
defense
got
gonna be back on track then.
But our problem last year, I think, had a lot to do with leadership. Like everybody was looking for Aaron Rodgers to come in as a leader, and no knocks on the man. Everybody is who they are, and so looking at him, I don't think he ever was a leader of any locker room because you know what I'm saying. His beliefs and what he think, a lot of people don't move the way he moved. So when he come into a locker room, he's not. And the Jets were a young team, and they was looking for leadership. So when you saw a coach that didn't, I think our coach lost the locker room when he allowed him to not show up for camp.
Yeah.
And if you look at that defense that year he got hurt, and you look at that same defense that year when he was there, everybody was a reflection of him. Everybody was playing for themselves. And then that's why our defense dipped down, because you'll see guys like I'm gonna use for example. I hate to put him in the spot. I ain't even gonna call his name, but everybody know our number one corner. Okay, this guy, I watched him on plays where it was about him. He wasn't even trying to make a tackle. It was like he was trying to keep his sneakers clean. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want my cleats dirty.
Put his name out there.
I don't want to put his name.
Listen, let me ask you this, because we had the conversation in the shop. Would you say that Aaron Rodgers might be like the LeBron of football?
Why would you call him LeBron?
With the show up, like when he came back to Cleveland.
Okay.
People say he called the shots on I don't like playing with young players, so they got rid of Wiggins. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is what I want. They brought in Kevin Love. They made those moves, and with us out here in this world, like, LeBron called the shots to make these moves. And then when he came to the Jets, it was like, this is what I want. Bring in Adams. This is what I want. Like, they got what they say, he got the coach fired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it gets highlighted when you don't win. Because Tom Brady did the same thing in Tampa. He brought Gronk down there. Nobody wanted to touch AB. He brought AB down there.
Yeah.
He said, Bruce Arians, get your ass upstairs. I'm tired of seeing you on the sideline.
Right.
Because they said one off week or they bye week, him and whoever their offensive coordinator was, they got the whole game plan together. Bruce Arians come in there on Saturday or Friday and is like, no, we're going to do this, this, and this. So that pissed Tom off. You know what I mean? Like they've been spending the whole week on the game plan. You come in at the end of the week, want to change stuff. So I just think it's LeBron he's not on Tom's level, you know what I'm saying? But I think he's more like Tom Brady in terms of even down to they both gone to a lot of championships, but his record ain't as nice as Joe Montana's, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's a better comparison for him. But Tom Brady is the GOAT to me, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers is more like KD in terms of not that KD is as much of a problem, but hear me out on this. It's more like when they're good, they lead by example. You know what I mean? So if their team is good, when he was an ace, you can kind of deal with all the stuff that comes with Aaron Rodgers because he's so nice. I feel like KD is like he's not a problem. So that's not what I mean, but it was just his leadership and lack of leadership is even more on display now because he can't just carry the team. Like, this Phoenix team, but if it was a problem, KD would have been easily in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? He can't do it no more. And so now it's like they need a leader. Everybody's talking about they need a leader or whatever. And I just feel like when he was on Brooklyn and they have a leader, and he was a toe away from getting them to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
So I mean, it's just all about the talent level. You know what I mean?
And since you said something about KD, I know we're talking football, but basketball, I think KD is just a great scorer. And if you go back and you look at it when he was with Russ, and it was at OKC, everybody used to say, man, Russ take too many shots in the fourth quarter. Why KD was deferring to Russ, if you go back and look at those films. So I think KD is a great scorer, but he has to have that. I think if him and Kyrie had more time together in Brooklyn, and Kyrie was healthy and he didn't have that incident that occurred when, with the shot and then also with the post that he made, I think they would have been a great duo. Because
they could have did something, man.
Yeah,
Kyrie
had
been a little bit more mature. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because KD, man, he, like you say, he's all offense. It's kind of like Melo. But Melo wanted it. You know what I'm saying? He just wasn't good enough. Like if he had that little bit more Melo in him and he wasn't so passive, bro, because KD is so efficient, you just be like, yo, you taking 2 threes a game, you make one of them. Take 4, bro.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Right. Melo, and see the thing about Melo, when Melo had it, he was surrounded with teams where he shared the rock. When he went to New York, he was the guy. And I think at that time, Melo might have been, I'm not gonna say too old, but his body was beat up. Because Melo, his whole game was physical. Banging.
By the time he got to New York, bro, he just needed help. I mean, you look at his team, he had Amari really good for a year.
Right.
But Boston was already set. Miami was set. Melo wasn't that nice where he could just do it by himself. You know what I mean? He needed at least one other guy. He was relying on J.R. Smith, Iman, and them boys. He needed more help than that.
I don't think he ever had a team around him. Like, even when in Denver.
Never.
He didn't, they never got him help.
His number 2 the year they went to the Western Conference Finals was Chauncey.
Chauncey
Billups. AI was already gone.
Yeah.
He never had a crazy team. That's why I don't take no Melo slander. Because in Denver, he made the playoffs every year in the West. You know what I'm saying? And when he was in New York, you can't tell me that there was a series that he lost to a team where he was like, Melo, you should have won that.
Right.
If he had won it, you'd have been like, yo, Melo, that nice. But it was Melo versus Celtics Big 3. Melo versus the Heat Big 3. You know what I mean? He never played Indy. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, there was no blowouts. There was no blowouts.
Yeah, he was definitely putting them numbers.
Yeah. So Melo is quiet as kept. Melo, one of my favorite players of all time.
Melo, nice, man.
I put him right behind. I got several great, I wasn't a Kobe fan while he played because I'm a Celtic, but I got much respect. And Kobe, one of my favorite players, to be honest. I just couldn't, I didn't watch him because he was always a thorn in our side.
People appreciate Kobe a lot more once he retired.
Right.
He's not in your face no more. Because my brother, a Knicks fan, he hated Kobe. And now, he be calling me with all these Kobe facts. I was like, bro, I lived through it. I know you don't got to tell me nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. And so, and this year's playoffs, now, I'm going to be honest. There's 2 teams everybody think is going, but I'm looking at the landscape. I don't think, and don't get me wrong, I like Shy, whatever. I call him Shy because he a killer.
He is, bro.
But I don't think that his supporting cast, I watch the game within the game. So I see Shaq. I've seen somebody get physical with him and he disappeared. I see Williams. The boy, when he in his feelings, he playing ball. But when he ain't in his feelings, he ain't even in the game. So I don't see that other player that's gonna bring it every night like Shy with OKC. And a Denver team, if they play the Denver team that just beat the Clippers, I don't think they can beat them in 7.
That'd be tough.
But the reason I say that, I saw a Denver team fill those spots when they won the championship, when they had Brown. I'm seeing them get complimentary offense from their bench now. Like their bench was putting up points. Their bench was playing defense. So when they took Joker off the floor, they were still scoring. That's something that they lack. That's what makes them so dangerous in the West now. And I think they playing with fire. I don't know what's gonna happen with them today.
Yeah, I forgot they got a game tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with them today, but like the Rockets or Golden State going up next with Minnesota.
I think Minnesota gonna beat both of them teams.
I do too.
Just the way
they play defense.
Yo, y'all know the Lakers is my team, but Ant's my favorite player.
Right.
I mean, he plays both sides of the ball, and if he's locked in, you know what I'm saying. And the way Minnesota got the type of defense, fellas, like where it's almost like you know how your offense catch fire.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many teams like that with defense where it just seems like once they defense start clicking, they get their hand on every loose ball. They get every rebound. I'm not just saying it because they smacked the Lakers.
Right.
I'm talking about, remember, when they did it to Denver last year, that's when I was like, oh, this team is different, bro. You know, they was locking up. I mean, they'll go from, it'll be a tie game and they can go about 20 in no time because they'll just stop you from scoring, cut your water off, and then they keep scoring. You know what I mean? And Ant ain't that type of play. Ant will go on like a 6 to 8 point run. He always finds open shooters because can't nobody stay in front of him. So as soon as he get in the paint, there's somebody going to be open. You know what I mean?
And he's
nice, bro.
He learning it.
Nice.
He's learning the game. He letting it come to him now.
I want him out of there.
I think his downfall is gonna be his attitude. If he have a downfall, it'll be his attitude.
Right. It's off court antics. And a lot of his responsibility.
What you mean by his attitude though?
It's on like it's like we was talking about was a couple weeks ago
when he
grabbed himself and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like that kind of stuff, bro, is frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you can't let your emotions get to you to get like especially in the crowd. Like playing
that's just him.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I really don't think that people be bothered. You heard like 2-3 weeks ago, right? When the season was about to end.
Right.
Someone was yelling out child support while he was at the free throw. He just started laughing. Like that stuff don't bother him. I think he enjoys it.
Right.
But I'll agree with you. It's almost like some AI joint where it's like, bro, you gonna hold yourself back a little bit. You keep.
Yeah.
I seen him walk in for game 5 of the Lakers game, and like obviously, you know, we brothers, so it don't even matter. But he was sacking to when you walk into a game like that, to an arena, he had on like some Adidas sweats, but you know his draws was just showing crazy. Like just walking into the game, I ain't never seen nothing like that, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your shirt so high up that your whole ass is exposed, basically. You
right.
know?
He probably got fined for that. He probably got fined.
Not even crop tops. But who was that? Was it David Stern?
Yeah, David Stern didn't play that.
Hey yo, put suits on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? He gonna mess around and have another daggone dress code messing around with him. He's walking around like that.
Not only him, there's a couple other players,
there's
right?
A couple of them.
Couple of them.
Some of them is just.
But see, like with that, I look at Minnesota, man. I do a lot of comparisons with the Celtics when it comes to their defense. They got a big lineup. Them boys big. The only small player is Conley. Everybody else is 6'6" and up.
If Minnesota gets to the finals and they play the Celtics, would you be worried at all?
I wouldn't be worried, and this is why.
You should be.
You should be. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why I wouldn't be worried. Number one, Rudy Gobert can't defend on the perimeter. Our bigs play the perimeter. Our bigs can put it on the floor and take it to my only problem would be when you go matchups, like that's the advantage the Celtics have. You got Brown and Tatum. Nobody can really match up with them. Those like Brown is too physical down low.
They got bodies now, bro. They got Jaden McDaniels. And Edwards gonna take one of them.
Right. Edwards gonna take one of them.
He gonna take one.
And Rudy have really stepped up.
He has,
game,
bro.
This
but
Julius Randle's a dude I did not expect. I was expecting him to lay an egg, bro.
No, I wasn't. And the reason why?
In New York years.
Because in New York, he had to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? He was.
That's true.
But see, like now, everybody know that's Ant's team. Everybody else play a role. So now, with a role, 15, 20 points now is good versus 15, 20 points when you got to get it.
The Lakers broadcast used to always call him a bull in the china shop because he just seemed like he had all this aggression. He just never had it like controlled.
Right.
In his series, he was controlled
That's
aggression.
what I'm
You know
saying.
what I'm saying? He was bumping against dudes, and it was like when he raised in the air, it was just like a soft jumper. It didn't seem like he was forcing nothing. It's like whatever he's done to his game, he figured it out playing alongside Ant for sure.
Yeah.
And
For
I
sure.
like, and another scary part is Machiza. That's what I call him, Machiza.
Who's that?
You know, the white boy. I call him
Machiza.
Machiza.
On y'all's team?
No, on
Minnesota?
Minnesota. I call him Machiza
Who you
because he
talking about?
remind me of a Wu-Tang character.
He's talking about Dante.
Dante. Yeah. I call him Machiza.
Yo, Dante do got a little swag on him.
Hey,
man.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I call him Machiza. I ain't calling him his name. I'm calling him.
Dante funny.
Yeah.
I like
But I like him.
No,
The reason I like him is, again, this is a player that's been bounced around who shouldn't be bounced around.
Shouldn't be.
He could be a starter on a lot of teams. So I'm looking at them, that depth. It scares me if they play the Celtics. But the only reason why the Celtics are too deep, and if we get hot, you can, like the Knicks, the first game of the season. The Knicks shot, I want to say 56%.
Yeah.
And bro, we beat them by 30. Almost 30. So I'm saying, like,
Man, this is the difference between Minnesota. Whose team, out of all the top defenses in the league, right, Ant is the head of the snake defensively. You know what I'm saying? The way they cut Denver's water off last year in the second round, the way they just cut our water off when they had to. I just feel like Minnesota is the one team where if they do make it, that's why I was asking if you'd be nervous if they made it there. Because they might not make it there, but if they do make it there, that means they're playing really good.
Right.
And they like one of the few defenses that the Celtics can probably see and be like, yo, this is a little different. You know what I'm saying? It's a little different. Now, we don't know. You know, we don't know until,
Right.
you know, your dudes, that's the one thing about the C's. They match up punt the entire game, and then Jason Tatum will settle for step back threes. It's like Joe Maz, he wants them to take a whole bunch of threes.
Right.
So they all is deep, but it only take, if Minnesota hold home, like win their games at home, and then y'all have one game in Boston where y'all ain't shooting well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the recipe for them to beat y'all.
And then it's a game of runs.
Yeah.
Right.
So if they withstand y'all run,
Fourth quarter, it's anybody.
yeah, I think they got their defense. I think they played good enough defense to withstand a run. It's one of y'all runs or two per game.
Yeah.
But the thing about my Celtics, I'm going to refer to my favorite boxer. I ain't even going to call his name. But you know my favorite boxer.
Man.
So, like, he's never fought the same fight style. If you look at Boston, this playoff series, man, they beat Orlando with taking less threes. So, I mean, like, they've learned how to play ball and not just jack threes. Because that Orlando series, I want to say one game, I think we averaged 31 threes. But through the regular season, Boston averaged like 40, sometimes 50 threes a game. It was some games we shot more threes than we did twos.
Yeah, coach was like, we gotta put up 40 threes a game.
Right.
40 threes. I'm like, man, why would you shoot 43? Like,
I don't even think the last game.
I got the horses to do it. Y'all got shooters.
Hey, yo, you know, I seen a stat at the right before the playoffs started. And they said that this is the first this year that every team shot more threes than that. Was it the 2016
The Warriors team? That's crazy.
Every team shot more threes than them. Like, I was
and
like,
they had like snipers.
Yeah,
you know what
right.
I'm saying? These dudes ain't supposed to be shooting this many damn times a game, bro.
No.
But see that this is where we see a prototype player, a generational player come in. We can go as far back as Magic. Like if you look at when Magic and Bird had that rivalry, you start seeing all the prototypical guards come in and do what Magic did.
Yeah.
Then you saw Jordan come. And so Jordan had his era where you saw every athlete come in trying to use their athleticism instead of their skill set, which watered the league down. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you could leave guys wide open for a little, especially I know Cleveland. Cleveland had a bunch of one and done. I mean, players that didn't even go to college went straight to pros. And these guys were great athletes, but they were poor shooters.
When they had like Darius Miles and
Darius
Davis
Miles, and all them guys. Great athletes.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
I remember I wanted their team to be good.
Yeah, but they couldn't shoot. So defenses would lag off them and force them to shoot jump shots. Yeah. So, I mean, and now we saw a generational player that he's got that gift. Steph Curry's, man, nobody, we can think of great shooters throughout history. You know what I'm saying? And like the only one, and you guys may not know him, but they just call him Downtown Freddie Brown. Man, this guy, he was an old player. I mean, before the NBA, he was what was that other league they had instead of the NBA?
It was the ABA.
Yeah, the ABA. He was an ABA player. As soon as he crossed half court, they was on him because he would hit him from anywhere.
What's his
And
name again?
Freddie Brown. They used to call him Downtown Freddie Brown.
But even
Hash mark was the layup.
even more recent. What's my man that played at in Atlanta? Was it in Atlanta?
Trey. Who?
Oh, was it Chris Jackson?
No, he didn't play for Atlanta. He played for Denver.
Denver.
To my Abdul Rauf.
Yeah.
I was about to say, everybody
Yeah,
say
Abdul
he
Rauf.
just like Steph,
Yeah,
bro.
He was Steph before.
Sniper.
But it
That's a
wasn't
little before
the
me.
3-point shot was not. It was a shot that you needed if you like in the clutch. If you needed
you needed it.
the 3-point, it was not part of the
Yeah.
offense. The average team, the most 3-point shooting team that I could think of back then during that era came with it started with
Right, run teams.
Miller. Miller might have been the first one.
Yeah, I ain't think about
Yeah,
that.
because he was the first one to make it part of the offense. Like he would shoot threes.
There's no run team
Kevin
C.
Durant.
That's before me, but I know they was putting up hundreds like
Right.
every game. You know what I'm saying? They was probably beating teams by like 20. From when
Right.
they talk about it, Chris Mullin and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim Hardaway talking about it. So, I mean, bro, it's
I think that was the first big three.
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch
that was a
Richmond
nice
was
team.
But
Mitch
see,
Richmond
like-
was that guy.
We had that conversation a lot too in the shot where like you had basketball players in that day. Like now it's just a bunch of athletes on the floor that can. It's positionless basketball. I
Yeah.
call it positionless basketball.
Right. Even the
You know what I'm
bigs.
saying? Yeah, because everybody run, jump, shoot, everybody. So
Yeah.
it was more of a. They got more skill now,
Right.
but
Don't
back
nobody
then,
specialize in nothing.
yeah,
Right,
back
right,
then,
right.
it was a
Yeah.
skill players game. We knew that Charles Barkley was undersized, but he gonna go crazy and do his thing at power forward. We knew Dennis Rodman was gonna bring in 20 rebounds a game.
Right.
We knew Jordan was one of about 5 or 6 athletes in the whole NBA
right.
at that time. So
Everybody had a role.
yeah, everybody knew their
You
role and
ain't
played
got
it.
them dudes like, remember the Davis brothers?
Right.
I call them the brothers.
Right.
It was Dale Davis and I think it was Glenn.
Mhm.
Glenn.
Yeah. They both played for Indiana that year that they played us in Lakers in the championship. You had to have like an enforcer like that. Just to
Right.
kind of like, you ain't about to just touch Kobe up like that. You
Right,
know, we got
right.
somebody in here who can handle you.
It'll never be
Always
a-
had that.
You'll never see another Anthony Mason,
Oh, nah.
Dennis Rodman,
Larry Johnson.
Larry
Larry
Johnson.
What was the other one that played with the Bulls? Then he went to the Knicks.
That was Oakland.
Oakley. Charles Oakley.
Charles Oakley.
Never
like-
see. Every team had an enforcer.
Yeah,
Had to
yeah.
have
Rick
one.
Mahorn with
Yeah.
the
Had to have one.
yeah.
See, just like, what's my man name that punched Kobe in the game? Chris Childs.
Yeah,
Chris
Chris Childs.
Chris
Childs.
Yeah.
Like,
Chris Childs.
those type players wouldn't be in the NBA
Nah.
because
But there was a role for him back
Yeah.
then, though.
Cause like now the league is so soft, bro. It's so watered down. It's just everybody can run fast and jump.
But I like what they doing now. Like, I'm not gonna say the LeBron era. They had to soften the league up for LeBron to be a star. You know, I make comments and this and that jokingly, but I'm gonna give LeBron his due. He's a great player, great athlete. But I think the league did do some things so that he could be the star that he is. Because I don't think that he could have played 22 years if they still banged like they did back then.
No, definitely not.
His body wouldn't have been able to
But I
hold
think
up.
that was more. I don't think that's more like let's do this for LeBron. Because
Right.
if that's the case, you can make the same thing for the NFL. But for Brady, I just think that those specific players got to reap the benefits of what the fans was asking for. Because I know y'all remember when the Pistons and the Spurs was going. Them
Right.
games was like 80-80, bro.
Right.
Like, I was watching the game in the fourth quarter. It was the highlight on YouTube said Rasheed Wallace and Tim Duncan going at it. Fourth quarter, 5 minutes ago, it was 68-68. I
Right.
said, who wants to see that, bro?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
15 points a quarter.
See,
Right.
you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Yeah, and that's another
That's
thing
crazy.
that we talked about in the shop. I think like they wanted everything to go the NBA and the NFL with more offense,
All offense.
Right.
more excitement.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I like those games. Like my vision of a football game is 13-10.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
If it's good defensive playing,
Yeah.
I don't want
Right.
to just see like
Poor
trash.
offense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
That's
I
where
don't
the
see-
strategy come to play. 'Cause,
yeah,
Exactly.
like
I'm
the
with
field-
that though.
Yeah, that's when
I'm
the
with
field
that.
like the field position matters.
yeah.
The possession of the ball matters, and it's a game of positioning. I'm the same way. Like I watch the best championship to me was, I think it was LSU and Alabama, 63.
Mhm.
Everybody else, it might have been boring, but I'm looking at them defenses go hard.
Yeah.
Them
'Cause
offenses,
the offense really had to work
right?
to
They,
get those
yeah,
points. Like
it was
sure.
nothing was given.
For sure.
You earned
Yeah.
every yard. So
Yeah.
I like those type games, but I get it. When I saw the addition of the touchdown cam, I said, okay, this thing is going toward it's
It ain't for dudes like us though.
right. It's
Because
for
we
women.
like the game. Yeah, it's for people
It's
who
for
just,
women.
if you sitting down watching it, I don't know what's going on, but I just see a whole bunch of dudes missing shots.
Right.
That's not sexy for them. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
Whereas we's looking at it like, yo, Ron Artest is locking Melo up. That's why he's
Mhm.
missing on them shots.
Right,
Like,
right.
we like seeing
Mhm.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
with you. Because when the Panthers had a good defense, I didn't know when to go use the bathroom. Because I wanted to see Cam and I wanted to see
Bro.
Luke and them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
15 season,
Special.
like bro,
was
Special.
it's like bro, you get up at a commercial break and it's like you gotta hurry
You
up,
got to, bro.
dribble
Right.
on yourself just so you get back and see the game.
Right.
I'm serious, dog. It's like
Right.
that. You got to
Yeah.
see both sides of the
Yeah.
ball.
That's what made me a Jets fan, because it's never been flashy offense. They've always had a gritty defense. I was gonna wear my Mark Gastineau jersey today, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Brandon.
Hold on,
But-
hold on.
Jets always had a
Hold
defense,
on, hold
bro.
on, man.
They ain't never had offense.
Hold on, man. We talking football, okay?
Right.
We're not talking about the Jets. That's not football.
I get it, man. But see, I love defense. Like, that's what made me up.
Me
I
too.
used to like to watch the Bears. Like the Bears,
Yeah.
their defense was crazy. And I keep my eye on San Francisco when they winning, because San Francisco can put together some mean defense. Baltimore,
Yeah.
mean defense.
The
Denver.
The Giants.
Denver. That's why I like
Y'all
that.
do be having some good defenses, but y'all can't be just so flash in the pan, bro. Like, you do. They be hot for a season, and the next season they fall off
Yeah.
again.
'Cause
Same pieces.
Their problem is depth. Y'all, the only time the Giants win is when they have depth.
Mhm.
Like that year, we got to go back even to Carolina. When y'all have y'all always got good defense.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But your problem is depth.
That 03 year,
Yeah.
our defensive line, Chris Jenkins, Kimo Yatu, Julius Peppers,
Yes.
Mike Rucker. I mean,
Yes.
we had guys, bro. Guys.
That's what I'm saying. And it was body after body. And y'all was that. Y'all had violent defense.
Mhm.
That's what I hear a lot of defensive coaches talk now. They want violent defensive linemen and linebackers. And when, and watching Denver last year, Denver had a violent front four. They had a violent linebacker core. And they had decent cornerbacks, which, well, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the game cornerbacks in the game right now.
So who's
Surtain.
y'all sleeper team? Like, who y'all think? Don't say the Giants, bro. Who's the sleeper team besides our three teams that y'all think made some good pieces in the offseason that might make a legit run? You know what I'm saying, in the playoffs?
I'm looking for the Raiders to make flashes, because
The Raiders?
I think the Raiders they're
You
going to
believe
be
in
interesting.
Geno?
Not so much Geno, but that running back, I want to see how he pans
I
out.
think he can be good.
Yeah, and they had a decent. They were pretty decent last year. But I think another interesting team that I want to see, I think the Texans are going to do what they do. I think, they're not a sleeper team, because everybody,
Yeah, people expecting them
they're
now.
expecting them.
Yeah, I was gonna go with not really a sleeper team because they had a great season last season, but they also had some big pickups in the off season. I'm thinking about the Commanders. Like,
Oh yeah,
we're picking up Debo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna be
and
scary, dog.
Yeah,
They got them offensive linemen they need.
They gonna be
Yeah,
scary.
they gonna be.
Yeah.
They gonna.
And they
like I
got
said,
had a good draft.
Yeah, it's hard to call them a sleeper team because
They
of the
gonna be-
season they had, but
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be good.
I'm just always weary of teams like Houston, for example. They got CJ, You get a new coach and new quarterback. It's damn near a new team, right?
Right.
That's what Nick Wright always says. He's like, it's damn near a new team. But then you got the last place schedule.
Right.
So it's just like the Panthers this year. I'm expecting this to go 8-8 or at least because we got a last place schedule and we got better. You know what I mean? So if we don't have show any improvement, like we got to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? So I think that certain teams was Washington, was they last in the division the year before?
No.
Or was it New York?
That was us.
It was y'all?
Yeah.
So I mean, they didn't have a last place schedule and they still balled out. Now that's why I feel like CJ and them boys took a step back because I feel like when you looked at the teams they was really beating, they weren't really beating nobody. First of all, their division is like so anyway.
Right.
You
There's
know
no
what I mean?
competition.
They got Jacksonville on the board. That's
They
almost
struggling.
6 guaranteed wins.
Right.
And then they had a last place schedule. So I expected them to take a step back. But
Right.
CJ the truth though. CJ
Yeah.
the truth.
I
But I
think
like that Washington pick though.
the problem that they had, and I don't want to call them out like that, but I think Diggs, a lot of times when your personality is bigger than the team, you know what I'm saying? I think that was too much for that young team. That was a young team. And when you take a big personality like that and you put in that locker room and you put it on the field, I think when he got that injury, that might have been, and you know, I don't want nobody to get injured, nothing like that. But I think that might have been the best thing happened to them. Because if you look at their season after that injury, they spiked a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They became that competitive team that they were before, but they had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
But another sleeper team, man, and I watched them against, I think I was talking about that against Philly. If they had a little bit of time in the playoffs, they would have beat Philly because they had to adjust to that snow. The Rams. Like the Rams
had a good
defense
team.
and the picks that they picked up.
Yeah.
If Devontae can find, if
I
Devontae
forgot
can
Devontae.
redefine himself,
Dang, that's a big pickup. I forgot about that.
yeah, and then with the other wide receiver that they had with Cooper.
Cool.
Coop gone now. He was Seattle. But that other kid was Coop on steroids.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, yeah. And so like they got pieces, bro.
I like the Bears, man. I think the Bears, because they got a tough division. You know what I'm saying? They got
They
Green
do.
Bay. They
Minnesota.
probably projected to finish last because if you had to tell me Detroit, Vikings, and Green Bay would finish above them, I'd be like, that makes sense. But
Right.
I think they got a legit chance to come up out of there, at least make the playoffs.
With
'Cause
their
they got,
coach.
they got a new
Yeah.
coach. I mean, they got they picked up the best tight end in the draft. You know what I mean? They already got receivers. I mean, I don't really know why they ain't pop this year.
I think this year they still had that old regime that Justin Fields had to deal with. And that's the problem I see with a lot of coaches now. Like if you go back and you look at football in its progressive state, it used to be the coach made his strategies according to his players, not the players had to adjust to the coach strategies. Now you got a lot of coaches now. They got this strategy and they're looking for players to fit. Everybody's trying to do what Belichick did. I think Belichick is the progenitor of this era where now you're looking for players to fit your system versus you finding players and design a system around their strengths.
Yeah.
So like that's the problem I think Justin Fields had with the Bears. And that's what I think Williams struggled with last year with the Bears. And if they take Williams, which Williams to me wasn't the number one quarterback, and I'm gonna be honest, and I look at Williams when he was in college, when he was at Oklahoma, he didn't win the big games. Went to USC, didn't win the big games. I look at players in college when they play guys who they gonna see at the next level.
Yeah.
When you play, like that's one reason why I say Shador, because when Shador played guys, he see at the next level. They never had the team to compete with those guys,
Right.
but he competed.
He still put up numbers.
Right, he put up numbers. So that's what I look at. It's not about the wins and losses when you're in college. It's how you perform when you're playing those guys who are on the next level.
I mean, look, the teams it's a monopoly out here. The teams be stacked. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, I wanted to see Bryce, Tua, them type of dudes who go to schools like Alabama. You got to show me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, yo, you had 3 dudes who all are stars in the field to throw the ball to, bro. Like,
and then
that's
the biggest
cheating.
line in college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying? So like,
going to certain programs, it's like you really can't get a value on the quarterback. I don't know what this dude JJ McCarthy gonna do for the Vikings. They high on him, but you know they rarely threw the ball in Michigan. You know how Jim Harbaugh do. He'll run dude.
I watched McCarthy, that championship game. I just tuned in on this kid. Great athlete.
Oh yeah, he's a good athlete for sure.
Arm, that arm, unless he gets stronger, is not NFL. he's not gonna be the quarterback that they're projecting him to be.
But I
Because
don't know. Might be wrong.
What's it?
I don't really think you need a strong arm to be in the NFL, bro.
with this, the reason I say strong, like in the NFL, unless there's a blown play, nobody's open. That's what made it so hard for Bryce his first year, and that's what makes it so hard for a young quarterback coming out of college. That speed in the NFL,
Oh yeah.
it's 10 times faster than
Oh yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
And in college, you might have an athlete and a cornerback in man, and this guy's just wide open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the NFL, unless it's a blown play, nobody's really wide open. You have to know the offense. You have to know the holes in the zone.
Mhm.
You have to know the routes of the receiver, because if you got to throw it like, say for example, if Sauce Gardner, this is one thing I do like about Sauce. Sauce stay near the receivers and when he breaks on the ball. So you got to think most of the cornerbacks in the league can stay with the receiver and break on the ball. So you have to throw it in a position. You got to study film and know the cornerback's tendency. Like if he's known to break on the ball, a lot of them break and they reach. A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? So you have to throw that ball
With
either high
for sure.
Yeah.
or low. Is
Yeah.
really positioned.
I say that because I hear a lot of people talk. He just checked down. Well, Tom Brady got 7 rings and he checked down his whole career.
But he threw a bullet.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He threw a
He
bullet.
good. Yeah, I mean,
it was-
good.
Yeah. So
But I'm
that's
with you. I'm with him though in terms of I think that you obviously you can't when you say a weak arm, you just mean he ain't got a rocket for an arm. Because if he's a quarterback, he can make the throws.
He can
but,
make the throws.
You know what I'm saying? It's them tight window throws that he might not be able to
Yeah.
get.
Can't
that
make
type of
those.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, like he said, if you got a good team, like Tua
Right.
ain't got a crazy arm.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like when things is clicking, they look like one of the best offenses in the league. So it's
Mhm.
just you got to keep the pocket clean for them type of dudes. We
Right.
dealing with it right now with Bryce. Drew
Right.
Brees is the same way. You keep the pocket clean for them dudes, and your offense, they got to be smart quarterbacks. Because like you said, they got to throw with anticipation. Cam,
Right.
he was 6'5", and he was like waiting till dudes got open. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And he could get away with that. But when you that small and you can't just rifle the ball in there, like you said, you gotta have some touch and throw with some anticipation for sure.
Mhm.
And I don't see that with JJ. If you go back, those big plays that tight end made, he
Yeah.
went and got the ball.
Mhm.
So Jefferson can go get it, and I think Addison can go get it. But
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
you're looking at the life of these guys, though. Like,
quarterback, they coaches like the quarterback whisperer right now though. If he saw something in JJ,
Yeah.
I mean, because I thought Sam was a lost cause, bro. You know
right?
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He picked up that dude, Josh Dobbs from
Right.
Arizona, and he was looking good for a few games. So
Yeah.
if anybody can make him look good, it's like him, Shanahan, McVay. So he in the right spot. We're
I'm
gonna see
gonna
if
ask
he
you
good.
this, and you know, I always watch quarterbacks, especially when they start buzzing their name. So I started paying attention to Michigan. All of his throws, the majority of his throws were 15 yards and less. I watched him throw a couple of deep balls, nowhere near the receiver. So that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
and they were lobs. They like
Yeah, it's gonna be a
when I
problem.
say a lob, it had a lot of air under it. You know
You
what
need
I'm
to be
saying?
able to throw that thing when you got Justin Jefferson out there.
You have to.
gotta be able to throw that. I mean,
And like this year, I think that's what everybody was looking at. He was that because he didn't throw the deep ball. Everybody's hoping he's the next Brady. That's what they're anticipating.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that the NFL, as far as talent wise, has spread out to cut down to catch up with Kansas City?
I think they have.
I mean, you saying you think they did that to catch up, or are you saying
No, I
have
think
other teams?
for a period of time, Kansas City looked like a dynasty, where they were so much better than everybody. You know, you didn't have a game film on what's my man, the quarterback, Pat. So now, I mean, Pat still gonna be Pat. He been doing it, so it ain't like you ain't no stopping him. But I just think that defenses like the NFL done caught up to his game.
I give him a little grace with that catching up to his game.
Yeah.
I think that high purchase, that high pocketbook, when they hit him with that $500 million, and then they had to start gambling on their draft picks. Like And for the first few years, his gambles on drafting the right player to fit that system, it worked.
It worked.
But we started seeing like, well, I'm gonna use last year for example. I think his draft picks worked, but injuries played a role in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have when you gambling, like that's why I think when you give that big money to one player, it diminishes the amount of talent that you can put around a person. So that's why like it's interesting because I think what you're saying, Philadelphia is mastering what he was able to do. Because Philadelphia now, they're gambling on, they'll let vets go and they're gambling on drafting the right players. And they've been fortunate with that. But the secret behind what they're doing is you got to also have depth. That's what Kansas City's missing. When a player goes down, especially somebody they need.
For Pacheco.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
was tough.
They even went back and
Rashid, but that's exactly what I was talking about. I think that I was about to say, they just a new version of the Patriots to me. I think they hit lightning in the bottle because I think when they drafted Tyreek, they didn't think he was gonna turn into that.
Right.
So you had probably a top 3 receiver, and you had the best tight end in the league and the best quarterback. It was like a embarrassment of riches. And then they had Kareem Hunt. So I just think at that point, their defense wasn't good. They got rid of Tyreek. They got their defense nice. They ended up drafting L'Jarius Sneed, their cornerback, shut down. They got Trent McDuffie shut down.
Right.
And so they both make all pro teams. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it was a trade-off for them. As long as they got Andy Reid and Pat, they the new version of the Patriots. That was a defensive league. It's an offensive league now. So it's the same thing. Their offense is always going to be good enough to compete to be in the playoffs every year.
Right.
And you're going to be worried about them. Because you know if it's a tight game at the end of the game, and then you got Pat over there, it's like it can happen. So they're going to be around for a while, bro.
Yeah,
it don't matter who they put in at this point.
Right.
Remember, at a certain point, they were like, Tom, just give him somebody. Like, find him somebody. Julian Edelman is the best I got. He's my number one now.
Right.
He's going to do that for a while, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he that good. So,
I think his stars around him are waning. And what I mean by that, the tight end, he's waning. Like, he's still that guy.
Yeah.
But he can't do it the whole game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to attribute it to, I think, last year, with all the hoopla with Taylor Swift and everything, when you have somebody like that in your life, and you know what I'm saying, like football, which was primary before, now you have to make an adjustment with
for sure.
that, because a lot of times you saw him, like she'd be at concert and you see him
He'd be right there.
Right there. When before, if he didn't have that on his shoulders, he probably would be in the gym. He probably, you know what I'm saying, probably working 100%. Out, doing something. So I'll say, like, it'll be interesting this year if he can get that perspective back, you know what I'm saying, and just be able to manage a relationship with her where it didn't interfere with football.
I think he's about done, man. I really do.
Yeah,
I think he got maybe 1 year left, too.
Right.
Tops.
I think when you as a player, like it's different with us sitting around talking like, yo, he need to go ahead and retire. But I think once a player mention retirement,
it's over.
Yeah, because like now in their mind,
it's over, bro.
So, but I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna play the best I can. But once you start thinking retirement as a player, it's time to walk away from the game.
And
especially
the reason
in
being,
football. Especially in football.
Because like I'm gonna use Harrison for example. Like that's one player that they forced into retirement. I don't think he was ready. I don't think James was ready for retirement. The reason I say that is his work ethic was bar none. Like nobody was outworking him, and he was still making the plays. But I think because football was gravitating away from that type of aggression, I think that's why he was gone. But I see other players like, for example, Travis's brother. I don't think he was ready. It was time for him to retire. He was still putting up crazy stats. But
Jason Kelsey?
Yeah. But I think it gets to a point where they're listening to their body. Yeah. Like the smart ones listen to their body. The other ones like we've seen some guys play NFL and they come in here, man. Bro, I feel sorry for them. Yeah. One guy in particular, I'm not gonna call his name, but bro walked like he walked like he ducking, trying to go and trying to get in a low surface. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from that wear and tear, not listening to your body.
Especially the old dudes, because you know what I mean, my mom, she went on a date with this dude, he do something with Russell Athletics out here, but he was like a fullback in the league for a while. And she was like, they went to eat, and she was like, he was sitting in his chair like this Like he couldn't sit straight. He was like
Right.
2 inches in. And she was like, when he grabbed for his drink, his fingers was mangled. And she
Mhm.
was like, even times like he would like have pauses, and he had to tell her that this whole concussion thing, he knows for a fact he had plenty of concussions. He said
Right.
there was times they would call a fullback blast. He said he didn't even know where he was. They would call the same play. Like he had to run it again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he said that happened all the time. Now his body is just, he's always in pain.
Right.
Always.
Right.
So like you said, you got to know when to let it go.
I watch a lot of Food Network, but one night I was watching Triple D, and he was in Houston.
Mhm.
And Earl Campbell was on there. It was at
Oh,
like
man.
a barbecue restaurant, bro. It's like the one clip that they showed him walking. I was like, y'all should have just left him in the chair. Like it was. I mean, when you a bruiser like he was a bruiser, you get your body is a beating, man. I tell my son, like, yo, you start playing football at 5 years old, and my son played running back and middle linebacker. He started both in high school in the same year.
Man.
And I was like, bro, get out of bounds, especially at running back. Get out of bounds if you can get out of bounds, bro. You already taking a beating.
Facts.
Like, man. And when you go from 5 years old to the NFL, just think of the beating you done took. In high school, you just now starting to hit hard.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when you go college, and now you get hit in the NFL,
Car wrecks.
I don't know how they do it.
Bro,
I really don't understand.
you gotta you can't be sane. Like we say that a lot, but you really can't be sane.
I'm sure something clicks differently when you get that check.
Right.
Like I'm sure. Like if it was, we small dudes compared to them.
Right.
But if they was like, yo, you can get, if we knew we could survive from it, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, we're gonna pay you $10 million for this season. Okay.
But
I'll do that for 16 weeks.
It's the conditioning though. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, the body is so magnificent to where like whatever you train this body to do, except for take bullets. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But other than that, man, like anything that pierces it, the body, like them guys, their conditioning that they go through is the reason why they gladiators out there on that field.
Yeah.
But like
gladiators, bro.
They still
it goes back to what you guys said. It's a certain psyche. We see it every day. Like when I see somebody that gets in that ring, them UFC fighters, bro, you gotta have a certain kind of psyche to go in there and know you might get your eye. Your eye might be hanging out your head, you know what I'm saying? But it's that
be different.
Bro. Right, you gotta be different. And I think all football players, that's why, prime example, I hate to bring it up, but like Davis had a little incident at the downtown Charlotte with the guy hit him one time and had to pay him a couple mil for that blow. Because people need to understand, like these guys, number one, they off a little bit to get out there and do car crashes every Sunday for us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to approach him on the street, you gotta be out your mind thinking.
What that coach tell what's my man Adam Sandler? What was that movie? The football movie.
Waterboy.
Waterboy.
What he say?
He tell him, man, these are well-oiled machines. Like you can't these are not regular human beings, bro.
Yeah, you don't approach them aggressively.
It was Brandon. Brandon he said he knew a dude that went to high school. He was like beast in high school for Concord and ended up playing for the practice team. Right. He said your boy went through a year of practice squad and was like, not for me.
Right.
Not for me.
Right.
That's practice squad.
Right.
You understand? Like where they probably hitting 2 days a week tops. He was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Nah,
you know
bro.
What I'm saying? And it's probably because he ain't like been conditioned to do it. You go through it a couple seasons, you probably can get a little callous to it. But dog, I mean, I don't even know. Like them dudes, you hear about dudes saying like, I don't feel like I'm in the game till I get hit that first time.
Right.
Every time you go out there, you're probably nervous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is this gonna be the time someone black me out?
Yeah. Because I remember in high school, we used to show up to school and sit in the gym, in the locker room, and watch Sports Center every morning. Yeah. And that's when they was doing the sports science. And I want to say it was the hit when Ray Lewis and what's my man, the running back, Eddie George, when they met in the hole that time. Mm-hmm. And they did a sports science on that. And they said that collision with the force, he running this fast, and the force was like a car accident at 45 miles an hour.
Crazy.
Right. That's what. And
they hop right back up.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna run as fast as I can, and I'm gonna throw my body into your body while you run as fast as you can.
I mean,
Bro.
just go back and think about Ray Lewis, how he introduced everybody to the league.
Mhm.
Like Ray blessed everybody and tell
Ray was crazy.
and would say, "Welcome to the league," after he almost
He was touching
tore your spine out.
bro. He was touching everybody.
Right.
I can't even imagine Lawrence Taylor and them boys. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even get to see that. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
this is when I knew football wasn't for me. When I saw him hit the quarterback, number 7. What was his name? The quarterback for the Redskins.
Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann. Bro, I'm watching
his
this
leg.
game, and when he hit him, he went and ran and got help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
He jumped up. It was
He
like,
jumped up.
He
come
saw
here.
that leg
Yeah.
probably.
No,
He heard
not
it.
even, not
He
even
heard
that.
it.
Yeah.
He heard it. He said he heard it pop.
And he just jumped. As soon as he made the tackle, he jumped straight up and started waving people. But what made me know that you can't be sane, like you can't have a normal person thinking, was Ronnie Lott when he cut his finger off on the sideline.
Yes.
He
What?
dislocated
What,
his
the
finger.
safety?
Yes.
Yes.
He cut it.
What?
He was playing with the 49ers, I want
Yo.
to say.
Mm-hmm.
And he cut his finger off on the side. He
So he
dislocated.
can get back on the
Bro.
field.
I've
He cut
never
his
heard
finger
that
off,
before.
and they put it on ice and put it back.
Put it back on at
after
the
the
end.
game, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, I've never heard that before. He cut
And
it off,
he
bro.
came, yeah, and came back the next week with a big bandage on it.
Yep.
Yo, that's different, bro.
That's what I'm saying. This
That's
running,
not just insane. That's different. Like he gotta
Bro,
be.
that's what I'm saying.
Crazy, bro.
But Ronnie Lott,
I'm not losing a limb for nothing. Like
bro,
for this game.
Ronnie Lott,
Nah, bro.
his-
I know Ronnie. They say he was a problem, with
Bro.
And they wasn't getting a piece of the money that they get.
That's
No.
what I'm saying.
but
That's
you think
crazy.
about it, that money they was getting,
It was good. At
it was
the time.
equivalent. I wouldn't say it was big as this money, but they were with the perks and everything else.
They were comfortable.
They live well.
They was comfortable, but
Mhm.
still, like at the same time, you know, it's just like the NBA now. I feel like them dudes felt like, yo, if I miss any time, somebody else could take my spot,
Mhm.
and like,
Mhm.
where else am I gonna find this type of money?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was not the same. So that's crazy. I believe it happened, but I just can't imagine
That
being
man
in the
cut
middle
it.
of a game and being like, yo, just take the finger. I'll deal with it later. That's
No,
crazy.
he did it.
Oh, he pulled it off?
No,
What happened? He dislocated
He
his finger and
dislocated
just
it.
cut it off?
And like, you know, usually they tape it together, but yo, he cut it off on the sideline. Like, yo, threw it on ice. We'll deal with this later.
And went back in the game.
Yo, he a beast, dog. A real life
And
beast.
still
That
smashing.
100 men versus a gorilla, we need him. You understand? Because he'll
Absolutely.
take a couple. You know
Right,
what I'm
that's what I'm
saying?
saying.
For the team.
Ronnie Lott
Pause.
on that
That's
football
crazy.
field.
Is he the dude? That's not the dude who broke somebody's spine. What's that? That was like Jack Tatum or something, right?
Yeah, that was Jack
Mhm.
Tatum. That was Jack
Yeah.
Tatum. He was a monster too. Back then, man, it was. I think the love for we saw people who really loved the sport and got paid versus now these guys are businessmen that play basketball.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference in the era.
100%.
So they know the science of the sport they're playing. And they pretty much know how many dribbles they can take, how many times they can run up and down the floor. It's a science now.
Yeah.
So I think these guys now, they're methodical. Prime example, Kawhi Leonard. We looking at this guy, and it's like he's in his prime. But he's an age star. You know what I'm saying? But just because he was methodical, he played the league. He did according to what the league would let him to do. He's preserved himself.
Yeah.
So that's why I think like now I'm looking at him and I'm saying LeBron's a good player. LeBron didn't take advantage of what the league was allowing him to do like he did. So now he's still he still got some rise in him, and we're seeing LeBron go down. Kawhi probably got another 5 years, 3 or 4 years to play the way he's playing.
You probably do.
And so, you know, and I correlate that with like football. Like you see these young boys coming in now, like, you know, going back to the draft. I saw a lot of businessmen go across their stage. Them boys, they dressing for the platform. You know what I'm saying? They interviewing for a platform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. I mean, their brands is already big when they get to the league. Bro.
Mhm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Most of these, like Shador, is bigger than where he got drafted.
Right.
He gonna be able to. There's gonna be people trying to get Shador Sanders jerseys, and he might not start till week 6.
It's already the number one. What is the number one selling jersey? In
That's
the
what I'm
league right
saying. The Browns, they know what people was talking about. They might cut him. Browns ain't stupid. They got him for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they at bare minimum he's selling tickets.
Just
And you think about LeBron, like that's LeBron City.
Yeah.
Do you not know what LeBron and prime time a connection
Exactly.
would mean for
Bro,
Cleveland
look, like,
Brown football?
just think of it like this, right? Everybody knew that Bronny wasn't ready, right?
Right.
Right.
But that first home game,
Pat.
Sold out.
Pat.
that first home game, now forget anything about Bronny in basketball.
Right.
But the moment that he stepped off on the floor with his pops,
History.
that was that
Yeah.
covered
Everything.
everything that
For the rest of the year.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
yo, like he made so with Shador being in Cleveland, all he gotta do really is warm up on the field.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's gonna bring a crowd.
That's what I'm saying.
He can be on the sideline with a jersey on, no shoulder pads, no nothing. But long as they can get there and see him warm up on
That's what I'm
the
saying.
field, bro.
He just spoke to the high school last week. Them kids love him.
That's
like
what I'm
that
saying.
generation,
Right.
They look at him like he a star.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
The
so
whole-
since we
everything
talking
they wanna do that.
about it, you know, since we talking about Shador, I would like, you know, before, because I know you got a tight schedule, I want to get to that part about Shador. Like, what are y'all feelings about Shador? Like, as a father, we all got a son. Now, you Dion, and you seeing your son, I'm gonna call it humiliate. You seeing your son get humiliated in front of the world, knowing that not a quarterback. I'm gonna go as far as saying the only thing separated him and Cam Ward from being number one. And Cam Ward, I don't know if he did it on purpose or if it was just something that was happening to get captured on film. But you remember, if we go back to before the season, the collegiate season started, remember the video that was leaked of them working out and him telling Shador, like, you ain't putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like the entitlement, if that's where that narrative came from. So I think the only thing that separated them two from being number one could have been that tape, that information that was leaked. So after Cam Ward went first, I don't think there was another quarterback that should have gone.
He's not.
Before
Definitely
him.
not, bro. Definitely not. They can't. I mean, there's nothing you can tell me about Jackson Dart. What's his name? Shook, the dude that New Orleans got.
Yes.
None of them dudes. You can't look at their numbers and be like, even they was low key exposing them during the draft. You remember, like the dude from New Orleans, they was playing his combine tape. He was overthrowing dudes.
Right.
I was like, are y'all trying to show a highlight or what are y'all trying to do right here?
The crazy part about it is he older than
I
all
think
of
like
them.
27 or something
What
like that.
where was that, his third school?
I have
Louisville
no
was his
idea.
third or fourth school?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea, bro.
So I'm saying, like, as a father, I'm gonna speak my piece. I probably would have told my son, yo, we're gonna take our show on the road somewhere else. I would not have allowed my son, which I think Shador is a strong-minded young man. You know what I'm saying? Because I listened to his comments after he was drafted. You know what I'm saying? He has a spiritual foundation. That was the first thing, you know, he just let everybody know that he's good with God. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I respect how he approached things, but I wonder, like, me being a father, I would still have that young man. And I would, you know, I would bring a counselor to our home and I would have him to get that rage, to get that out of him. Because I think if he doesn't get that issue resolved, because he was done unfairly. And, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times when I'm gonna look at it like a corporation. When we deal with corporations, there's certain guidelines, there's certain looks, there's certain attitudes that people that look like us have to have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or
Humble.
yeah, we have to, and that's what I think that he experienced, a humbling in front of the world and a great embarrassment to see people you know you're better than. How many times have we all competed? We have all played sports, and you saw a coach have a favorite player that you knew you was better than, but he would play him over you sometimes.
I mean, bro, go ahead,
My bad. But like even Shallow, you know
He
what I'm
didn't even
saying?
get drafted. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like
But I
even
think he got picked up by the Bucks.
But he
Tampa Bay.
signed with them. He didn't get drafted.
Oh, he's an
Yeah,
Yeah, he
undrafted.
signed after the draft.
I seen a clip on YouTube, not YouTube, TikTok or Instagram, one of them. But I seen a clip and it was like they was at the party and they joking like this was at the end of the first round and they was in there clowning. They was like he was like, yo, I ain't get drafted. in the first round. I know you ain't get drafted. Like, it's like, yeah. And it's just like, even through the humiliation, they kept it positive.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They
But I think, bro, with
I think
both
that-
of them getting done the way they got done, I think that was more of a Dion. I
It's a
think it was
Deion
more of a
moment.
shot to
Of
Dion.
course, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Of course.
you ain't big enough. You might run college, but
Yeah.
you ain't gonna run this over here.
I think a lot of dudes too, though. Like you got to think, you know, the chatter is gonna start talking about as soon as the team is doing bad, is Dion the next coach? No
Mhm.
coach really want that. I get a lot of the reasons you would be scared of getting him, but if you in the business of winning football games, he was the second best quarterback out there.
Right.
There was about 4 or 5 teams who needed a quarterback. They all
Right.
stupid.
Right.
So if I was Shador, because my homeboy was like said basically the same thing. He said, man, I wouldn't even play for the NFL. It's like,
Right.
nah, bro, you still getting a check. I
Right.
always go out there. My loyalty just wouldn't be to nobody. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna dominate, make those other teams feel stupid.
Right.
And then when it's my time, if I want to, either I'll stay in Cleveland or if I don't, because we saw the war room when they drafted him, they ain't look happy.
Right.
So I wouldn't forget that either. And when I
Right.
become a star, if I want to leave y'all at the altar, I will. 'Cause
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have no loyalty to nobody in this league. He's at the right position in quarterback. You can do that.
Right.
You can't do that at running back. They'll get 5 years out of you and toss you aside. If he
Right.
becomes nice, bro, he'll be able to write his own ticket.
Right.
So that's the one good thing I can see about this. His head seems like it's on straight. He got the talent.
Right.
And so if he like turns into something, I think he'll be all right.
But my thing is, as a father, I still would check in on him. And I call it, the reason I say I call it a counselor, because I know it's a little bit of rage inside of it.
Oh, for
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And,
You know he
and,
gotta be pissed.
and we got to do that. So the reason I say that, like,
Feed
sometimes
them.
that ambition can drive you to make mistakes. Like, he might get on that field and feel like he got a point to prove when there's no point to
pressing
prove.
and stuff
Just
like
be the
that.
best version of you.
Nah, you right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why as a father I would check in on him.
It's gotta be
And I'd be
focused.
like, hey man, I as a black man in America, and that's something that we all need to do. We all need to do is do an evaluation of ourselves. I do it all the time. Do an evaluation of myself. Cause like if I see myself overreacting in certain situations, there's something that's hadn't sat well with me and I didn't address it. So now it's got me aggressive in areas I don't need to be. So that's why I say like that situation to me, it humbled me as well. Cause as a father, I remember my son when he went to A&T. Like he had different looks on the table as far as football. Like it was Duke, in his mind, engineering was his bread and butter. And I think he was playing football because I guess he felt like that's where me and my dad connected the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like he went to A&T and the coaches, you know, they told him like they redshirted him, to be honest. And he wasn't even on their radar. Like we had sat down with a scout from Duke. And when that scout told him, you know, my son told me he wanted to be an engineer, and he was like, well, I'm gonna be honest. He even mentioned, he said, A&T got a better program than we got. Like, if you go to Duke, you still got to go to A&T for an engineer. So my son cut him off. He was like, after that, he was like, Dad, I don't want to go to Duke. Yeah, and we sat down with a scout. You know what I'm saying? We met him right over here at Panera Bread. And so, like, he went to A&T. The coaches were on him. The young man who was playing for the Bears at the time, Tariq, you know, he had talked to him a few times and, you know, had seen him and talked to some guys who knew him, and he was excited. But when he got on that field and he was at practice and coaches had him watching, you know what I'm saying, working out with him, but he wasn't participating because he was, you know what I'm saying, he was watching. And, you know, I would talk football and I remember he said something that stuck with me. He was like, man, going across that middle, man, them linebackers, you know what I'm saying? They eat you for lunch. Like you gotta catch that ball and get down and catch that ball and make a move. And I knew then that it was over as far as and I told him like you make the decision on this is your life. You can't live your life for me. And he chose engineering and it worked out for him. So I said that to say this as a father, man, like we have to just check in on him, make sure that this is really what you like. And I see that with Shador. Great talent, but like, is this where you and your father connect, or is this really what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? It is, and that's one of the things that's the reason why I say what I say.
He's a confident young dude too, so it's like, you know, we all been there. You know how men are anyway. We prideful. It's got to get real bad for us to go out and seek some help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he already super confident. So you're right. You probably do gotta check on him because if it is bothering him, he ain't gonna say nothing.
Right, he gonna
I
say
can
nothing.
almost guarantee it.
He
You know
gonna
what I'm
say
saying?
nothing.
Because his whole facade is like, can't nothing faze me. You
Right,
saw, I mean, he handled the daggone prank call beautifully.
right,
I would have been pissed off.
right,
And his homeboy was like, nah, somebody need to get in trouble for that. He was like, nah, it was probably just somebody's son playing around. He said it ain't no big deal. And then it ended up turning out to be that. You know what
right,
I'm saying? I wouldn't even want to take the dude's call. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Because he embarrassed him. He was streaming live. You know, he embarrassed him for the world to see. But he's clearly a real mature dude, bro. I got high hopes for what he's going to
Right.
do in the league.
And I respect, I'm going to be honest, you know, Tony will tell you, man, I talk controversial talk all the time. And it's just, I try to get people to think outside the box. That's why I do controversial talk, so that you don't just get stuck one way. And it's, to me, every conversation, my wife was having a conversation on the way up the road from today. And I was telling my wife, like, I've gotten to a place where I don't waste words. Like, I'll say it different ways to, you know what I'm saying, say what I got to say different ways so I don't offend, but a person understands where I come from. So, like, a lot of times people come in with one train of thought, and that's something that a lot of our people struggle with, one train of thought, when there's a whole, you know what I'm saying, spectrum that we should be thinking on. So, like, a lot of my conversation is, like, if everybody got the narrative going this way, I'm going that way just so you can come out of your comfort zone. And so, like, looking at where I see Shador at, with him, I think this young man is a spectacular talent and a very, very mature young man, but he has to have an outlet. And that's why I was saying, like, even with us, man, check in on yourself every day, bro. We're going to go ahead and conclude, man, because we can go on with the sports talk. This is what we like.
3 hours, dog.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But, like, hopefully we can get together again and throw some more dice on the table.
No question.
But, man, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate y'all having me on, man.
And man, and I pray your podcast continue to blow.
I appreciate y'all, man. I
Most
hope this
definitely.
does keep doing numbers for sure.
Yes, sir.
For sure. I've been steering people your way.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you. It is.
Your local barbershop is a place to go for a nice haircut, shape up, or just a little off the top, traditionally speaking. Rise and Ruck, master barbers at Klippah Talk, have combined their interest in hair design, community events, and social awareness to bring you more than just a traditional barbershop experience. Come enjoy a welcoming family atmosphere where no one is a stranger, a place to collectively discuss issues that affect our lives and that affect our community, and a place you can get a really nice cut. But don't take our word for it. Come see for yourself. You'll find that we're more than just a barbershop. Come experience the difference at Klippah Talk.